Let me see this here. This is, I don't understand what's happening here. Let's see. What did I just download today? Here we go. Thank you. Two people are here. I'm very sorry. So something has been going wrong with my sign in lately. So first of all, it wouldn't let me get back into my live stream. It signed me out of my YouTube, and then it wouldn't let me go live, and that was very odd. And so that's why I had to delete that. It wouldn't let me go live on YouTube without some external device, and that was very odd. So I had to. No, I want monetization. So I had to go live on Restream instead, and that's why we're here. I saw Basket Case was in the original one. I'm sorry about that. I've been having some trouble with live streaming lately. I'm gonna have to see these problems where like on Restream it won't let me schedule one like I used to and get back into it, and on YouTube it just wouldn't let me live stream at all. So hopefully, I'm sorry. Thank you for the people who gave me the likes originally. I'm sorry that I had to delete that original stream. I don't know what's been acting up with it. But anyway, welcome everyone to the live stream tonight. I am your host, Jester Bell, and I've been a little bit down for not having some news to talk about, but now it looks like we have some juicy things to discuss. I was worried that this live stream might turn into a DC Universe discussion if James Gunn would announce anything, but he never does. Hey, thank you, Vezok, and thank you, Static Shock. I am so sorry that my other stream just got messed up. I don't know what's been going wrong with them, but as always, we are going to have a great discussion this evening or this afternoon from wherever you are. Once again, if you want to support the channel and if you want to make sure that I answer a question and not miss anything and spend time talking about any input that you have, then you can leave a tiny super chat as low as $1 or $2, and I will definitely answer it. But if not, thank you all just for being here to hear my thoughts on this subject, and I think we can get started on it. And so let me just pull up the news stories. We are going to be talking about the end of an era for DC and how it seems as though we are finally getting rid of a lot of the clutter on DC. So let's pull up the share screen and see if that works. I hope it does. Here we go. Yeah, here it goes. This is working. Okay, so I'm a little small there, but as you can see, we have Titans Doom Patrol ending on HBO Max. Both Greg Berlanti produced DC Comics dramas originated on DC Universe. And so we're going to talk about this a bit on here. So I want to clarify myself a bit for the stream or the post that I did where I was celebrating both these shows getting canceled. Now, I want to be clear that I'm not celebrating Doom Patrol necessarily. I've never seen Doom Patrol. I'm just not interested in those obscure DC characters. Let me I guess it's playing now. That's fine. Anyway, I'm not interested in those obscure DC characters. But I have nothing against Doom Patrol. For all I know, it's a great show. What I do have something against, though, is Titans. I have seen parts of that show, and I hated it. There's a weird cult following for it where they're like, no, Titans is actually good, you see. You have to watch Titans. The trailers didn't reveal what it was. No, the trailers were exactly what it was back when they first released the trailer for it on DC Universe, and it was try hard, edgy, and that's what the show was. And I read a long time ago, though, in a DC leak on Reddit that Titans was only supposed to ever get 4 seasons, that they wrote the show initially as if it would play for 4 seasons. And here we are. It only went on for 4 seasons. So I'm glad that DC is finally moving away from that show. And for Doom Patrol, honestly, once again, nothing against anybody who enjoys that show. It's just that I wanted to move on from there. That's the big thing, that through the 2010s, having connection issues. Well, don't have connection issues then. I'm going to probably get rid of this other tab so that it hopefully will go better. Stop screen sharing. Okay. So these series, for someone who's asking there, were on DC Universe. And there's an interesting history behind that. So DC Universe was this DC exclusive streaming service. I think the glitch is solved now. I hope it is. Anyway, so DC was going to have this exclusive streaming service just for DC content, not WB content, just DC content. And as I understand, the excuse for the streaming service was to get out content that they couldn't get greenlit anywhere else. So, for example, Titans was supposed to be based on the Teen Titans, and it was supposed to be a TNT show, not CW TNT. I remember when they were announcing this, but then that show wouldn't move forward. They didn't like what the show was, so it went on DC Universe. And that also is the case of Doom Patrol and Stargirl and Young Justice Season 5. Hello, Basket Case. I'm sorry that I had to get rid of the old stream. And yes, the Not Harley Quinn show. All of these shows were on DC Universe because DC Universe was sort of the hub for DC shows that they couldn't get made anywhere else. So DC Universe was canned, obviously, but they took over most of the shows because they wanted to have some content for HBO Max. So everyone hated Titans, it seemed. They had like a little cult following defending it, but they seem to have gone away. Doom Patrol also was very well received and it had a cult following, but I always got the impression that not a lot of people watch these shows like Doom Patrol. It got very well received, but it didn't seem to have a lot of awareness for it. And I think that is partially because of what the shows are. Very, very hard R-rated. Doom Patrol is dealing with some very obscure characters. Sorry. And then Young Justice. And honestly, Young Justice... it's canceled for sure, by the way. People seem to not have clarity on that. Young Justice has been canceled. That's what it means when you announce that that there are no plans for a season 5 of Young Justice. That means canceled. But anyway, these shows were kind of only watched by the most hardcore DC fans that watch anything. And so they went on for a while. Apparently, Doom Patrol was also supposed to get only 4 seasons. But now we are in a new era of DC where David Zaslav, keep using that name, has said that he wants to streamline everything and he wants to make it so that they have just one cohesive universe. And so not 2 Batmans, not say if they wanted to use Dick Grayson for either a Teen Titans movie. And let's get rid of that Titans name. It's Teen Titans. Like they only called it Titans because they thought Teen Titans was too silly. But if they want to use Dick Grayson for a Teen Titans movie or a Batman sequel, then they want to only have one version of that character. So that's another reason why Titans might not continuing to move forward. They just want to be done with that show. They just want to move on with it. And Doom Patrol as well. Very well received. Not a lot of people watched it. And a big thing about HBO Max is they want to have a service that people actually watch now. Because they have been, the big thing was the Nielsen ratings finally came out. Like, what were the top most watched things in 2022? And nothing HBO Max was on that list. Not even House of the Dragon, which is supposed to be doing relatively well. Certainly, Peacemaker wasn't on that list. And so it makes sense. And I was rejoicing that these shows are gone because there were so many DC shows that I couldn't keep up with them. They were different universes. They were completely different styles. I just couldn't keep up with them. And I'm seeing, even as my channel grows a little bit, that most people just had no awareness that there was a Titan show or a Doom Patrol show or even a Harley Quinn show. And that shows how bad that HBO Max has been with marketing their content and getting things that people are actually going to watch. So I'm also very, very excited that these shows were both canceled on season 4, because that gives me hope that another very bad show is going to get canceled. But let's get to that though. Let's talk about the remaining DC shows that are left and their fate. I'm assuming they are all going to get canned. So here's the shows from DC that are left. We have Peacemaker Season 2 by James Gunn, which is set in the old DCEU. We have Pennyworth. I bet you guys didn't know this show was a thing, but there is a show based on Batman's butler, Alfred. It's called Pennyworth, and it's actually been running for 3 seasons now. I don't know how it possibly got to 3 seasons. Once again, it's probably a streaming thing where they greenlight a certain number of seasons from the get-go and just run that through. like Cobra Kai, that's had 6 seasons from the very beginning. That's why it's ending now, not because nobody's watching it. But there's the Alfred Pennyworth show that's just called Pennyworth that you can get on HBO Max. It originally came on Epix, I think. And then there is the obviously the not Harley Quinn show. We'll talk about that in a second. And there's Superman and Lois, which is a CW show. And last but not least, there is the Gotham Knights show, the show that nobody can understand why it got made, the Gotham Knights show. And now let me go through it. Also, there are 2 spin-offs. Allegedly, there was a spin-off for Doom Patrol called Dead Boy Detectives. I don't know if you're going to cancel Doom Patrol, then I don't know why you would do something like Dead Boy Detectives. That just doesn't really make sense to me. And so I think that they've shot some of it. I wouldn't be surprised if that's licensed out, or maybe they only do a season and they just don't promote it whatsoever. It's probably going to get licensed out. That just doesn't make sense to me. On a similar vein, there's a Kite Man spinoff from the Not Harley Quinn show. And once again, I just don't see any interest in that whatsoever. So I don't understand why they would sink any kind of money, especially considering how long animated shows take to make. So I don't see that Kite Man spinoff is still going to happen. We haven't heard from it in a while. It really seems that they're cleaning shop. But let's go through each one of these and talk about their fates. So I'll save Peacemaker for the last because that's a really confusing one. But Superman and Lois. Now, I've heard that Superman and Lois is actually a very good show. I have not watched it. And once again, this is kind of the problem with DC. They have just way too many things out there to choose from. And at the point of Superman and Lois, I was like, it doesn't seem like a lot of people are actually watching that show to discuss it. And I am done with the CW style DC shows. And there's so many of them. That said, there was just like I heard a rumor that Titans and Doom Patrol were always supposed to be canceled on their 4th seasons. I heard a while back that Superman and Lois was always intended to get 3 seasons. And so with that rumor and the knowledge that it's the CW adjacent, and nobody thinks that Superman and Lois is very well watched, that show is for sure getting canceled after its 3rd season. There's no reason to keep it going, especially with, once again, David Zaslav likes to consolidate things. He doesn't want to have a Superman on TV and a Superman in the movies. We're doing a new Superman movie, so that means that we're going to get rid of Superman on TV. We're just going to have the Superman movie universe. If it is a universe, we'll see if that turns out. And so Gotham Knights is the other one. Now, Gotham Knights, I don't understand how it even got made because CW does not make money. They've been canceling a ton of other things, like every superhero show. The Flash is on its last season finally. That show should have been canceled a long time ago. But so everyone's wondering, why is Gotham Knights getting greenlit? And I think the theory is that they're trying to sell the CW, so they want to have just some cheap, low-level DC thing on there that nobody is watching intentionally, is very different from the regular DC universe. So they're going to take that and use it to sell the CW with. So Gotham Knights, like, unless some weird thing happens where they feel like they need to keep it up just to try to sell it, I don't think that is going to last longer than 1 season. And Gotham Knights I'm not really worried about because it's just so different than anything that people have ever seen before, and not even the video game was successful. So I don't think Gotham Knights is going to last. So that's what goes on with the CW shows. The CW shows are pretty much dead already. We know that they're not going to last around. Okay, so so we done through Superman, Lois, Gotham. Okay, so Alfred the Pennyworth show. I don't know why this show is on at all, honestly, because it's like, why would you want a show that's all about Batman's butler? It's supposed to be good. I've never had any interest in watching it, but that said, like, I think that it's going to go away for sure. I haven't heard anything about it being greenlit for anything, but it's like, we're going to have the Penguin show coming out. That for sure is still happening, by the way. So I think that they would want to get rid of the clutter of having other Batman, live action Batman material on HBO Max. So Pennyworth, yeah, that's pretty much a done deal, gone for sure. So these, I think I already covered the spin-off shows. Like, I don't think that they're going to go anywhere. But that leaves us with the two shows where there is a question mark for me. The first one is the Harley Quinn show, aka the not Harley Quinn show. Now, guys, I am going to do a video on this on the 9th when that horrible special comes out, which is supposed to be NC-17. I'm going to do a video based on how much I hate the show and why it's awful and why it really is just like Velma, even though people keep saying that it's not. I'm going to do a video on that on February 9th. Look for it. I hope to get it out. Hopefully, if nothing gets in the way, it will go out. But this has brought me a big question because something that I've been trying to tell you guys is that the reason the HQ show was not renewed for a 4th season this year. The HQ show gets its renewals in batches. So, for example, it was originally supposed to have a 26 episode first season, and that season was split into 2 seasons, just because that's kind of like how they like to do it now. They like to have 10 to 13 episode seasons. Hello, Ashley. And then go from there. And once again, streaming services like to renew their show in batches. So the Harley Quinn show was originally supposed to only get that original 26 episode order, and that was supposed to be it. And that's why the showrunners originally wrote it as if that was going to be all, and they wrote it as if it was one single story and that it was over at the end. But then, because they needed content for HBO Max, and some people, it was well received. Once again, I don't think many people actually watch it, similar to Titans and Doom Patrol, and frankly, Peacemaker. But it was well received by critics, and so it got another season. And from what I've been reading with the showrunners, once again, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, but apparently it was greenlit for season 3, 4, and having a special a long time ago. They confirmed that they were working on season 4 back in 2021, and that the first batch of animation was almost done by the time they were able to announce that they had a season 4. So, and the not to mention the episode titles were leaked out before then. So it's not like they saw the analytics of season 3 and how much viewership it was getting and they greenlit it. No, this was always supposed to happen. So basically, once again, it's similar to Titans having 4 seasons that just needed to finish through. This show is cycling through what has already been put up. Now, that means that it could get canceled because we're at the point where we're axing DC shows left and right. We have very few left, and I don't think that a lot of people watch it. And right now, HBO Max needs people to watch these shows more than anything else. They need to actually bring in content that's bringing people on board. So I'm hoping that this means that that's going to be the last season, especially since these showrunners have been talking about they lost their original showrunners because they said that they had run out of ideas. I'm paraphrasing. They said that they'd run out of ideas for the show. That's what, we've told the story we want to tell. I don't see how do I tag someone in a reply? I don't know. You just at them. That's how I know how to do it. But anyway, so the showrunner said things like, "Oh, we told the story we want to tell. This show is just so difficult to write for." That is code. I know how these showrunners talk. That is code for we have run out of ideas for this show, and you can tell that as they go for more and more not safe for work content, which I'll explain in my video. But so that is making me think, especially when the new showrunner is saying there's a feeling that the show might not last too much longer, and saying it's tough to say how much longer it's going to last, that it might get canceled. And if it has, then they probably already know. It probably has already been decided whether it's going to be canceled or renewed, because they decide these things pretty early. But unfortunately, here's the downside and why it might not get canceled. So number one, it's an animated show, and animated shows are automatically separate from the other things that DC wants to do with its material. James Gunn said in an interview, it was a tweet, where he said that other things apart from the DC universe they are doing that exist in alternate universes, and this was in reply to someone who talked about the Harley show, that they can stay around if they're in alternate universes. So that's one thing. The other thing, well, that's really the main thing, that it's an animated show, so that might give it an excuse. I don't know if they're going to want to keep it around because the critics love the show so much, or if they just conveniently can because they don't expect it to get that much viewership in the first place. There's different factors that could keep it on. I honestly do not believe that many people actually watch the show, though. And James Gunn, and this is important, he confirmed that he does not have the power to keep a show running forever. That's what people have been saying. That they think that just because James Gunn is CEO now, that that DC is basically his sandbox and he can play with all of his toys as long as he wants. Do you think that WB Discovery will be sold next year? Um, it depends. We have to see how things play out. It really depends. I heard that they weren't going to. Well, it is 2024 next year. Um, Probably. I think we have to see. Like Warner Brothers Discovery isn't going to be sold, but Warner Brothers might be sold from Discovery. That's what's going to happen. Okay. So once again, James Gunn does not have the power. He can produce things, he can greenlight things, but if a show is not making money for HBO Max, if it's not getting the right viewership, then it has to be axed, and he does not have power to stop that if it's not bringing in money. David Zaslav is the money guy, and he had a lot of these things implemented before James Gunn came on board. So that brings us to, like, just because James Gunn likes the HQ show does not mean that it's going to run forever. Similarly, if the Peacemaker show is not getting that much viewership, then it could also be canceled. And I think that James Gunn is going to just go through with Peacemaker season 2, and then I think that he might be ending it after that just to tie into his other universe, because I don't really see a reason for Peacemaker to go on, because Peacemaker is a very, very small niche show, and it already has very heavy ties to the old DCEU. Conveniently, though, it is convenient that the only Justice League characters that appeared were Aquaman and the Flash, the two characters that have a movie coming out this year, and that they've said that there's a chance that they're going to keep them if those movies do well, which I don't think they will, which is the conversation that we're going to have next. Okay, so we've discussed for probably the past 20 minutes to a half hour all about the DC shows, and that I'm excited that they're going to get canceled. I'm just looking forward to some new good DC shows that are just streamlined. Like maybe there's only 2 you have to follow. There's not a million. That's the problem that Disney Plus did, where they have so much content out there. It doesn't. There's just too much to follow. You can't keep track of it all. So I'm hoping that the Penguin show, that's okay. I'm not really interested in it. It's part of the Batman, so I will watch it. What I'm really interested in is this show that they have in development hell that's called Arkham Asylum. And that was originally a Gotham PD show, and now there has been any new news on it. But imagine an Arkham Asylum show where you've got Hugo Strange and Scarecrow and Harleen Quinzel, like before she changed, and those are your main characters. And they meet. The show is all about their dealings at Arkham Asylum and what it's really like there. And the show can explore major villains, but also Batman rogues that don't get as much attention. That would be a great show. I would watch it in a heartbeat. I wish that they would do something like that. Okay, so now that we've talked about the DC shows, let us talk about DC movies. And before I get into this, I'm just checking because James Gunn has announced things like around 5 o'clock before. And if he does, I don't want to miss it. James Gunn has said that he's going to announce things in January, but it's like we have 2 weekdays left in January left, and he hasn't said anything. And I think I think when he does announce things that it's going to be really anticlimactic. Like he hasn't announced anything, I see. It's going to be really anticlimactic. He's going to maybe announce something like Superman is going to release in 2025, and here's the director, or the Batman 2 releases here, and Pierce Brosnan Peacemaker 2 release. I think it's going to be really anticlimactic stuff. I don't think we're going to get much clarity on where DC is going until like the end of the year. And here's the big problem with it. I will get to that question in a minute. But here's the big problem with it is that they have movies that are slated to come out. but they've already sunk money into them and they can't do anything about it. So they have to see if they can make at least some profit from it. So James Gunn and the people involved with these movies have to keep pretending as if everything is fine with them and everything can still continue with them. That's why Zachary Levi and Jason Momoa, these are the people who keep acting like they're still going to be around because they have movies to promote. I expect that Shazam is actually going to do really I don't know, because the first Shazam was a good movie, but it didn't get a lot at the box office. It was sandwiched between some other heavy hitters. Um, uh, but but we have seen a lot of movies overperforming this year because people are coming back to the theater. So, like, if Shazam 2 overperforms, I don't think it will. The marketing's been really drawn out. Nobody really cares about Shazam. DC movies have not been doing well lately at all. Marvel has it a little bit better, but I don't think it's really going to do well. But if it overperforms, that is going to throw another wrench in DC because they're like, oh, we have to keep Zachary Levi right now. Okay, so let me read some of these comments. That boy has like 4 days. Speaking of DC, anyone hear anything about Constantine 2? Hoping they don't desecrate Constantine. I really like the original movie. I don't think that that's happening because I think that they're streamlining it to be this new DC universe, and I don't think that Constantine is a part of that. Like it's the same with they were talking about doing a Black Canary movie with Journey Smollett Bell, and that disappeared. These movies that just disappear, like Channing Tatum's Gambit movie, these movies that just disappear, that's them being quietly shelved and quietly canceled. So I don't see them continuing with Constantine 2 right now, unless they reboot it altogether. I hope the Flash movie will bomb. Ezra needs to be gone. I agree with that. Ezra Miller wasn't, like, crimes aside, he wasn't even a good Flash. So I don't know why they would be keeping him. And I don't know why there would be any interest in the Flash movie, because even if the mainstream isn't aware, but Ezra Miller has been doing, the fans are, and that is going to dominate the conversation around the Flash. They can't be keeping Ezra Miller. And then, of course, we got Aquaman, and that's got Amber Heard involved. It's like there's no DC movie that's without any kind of trepidatiousness at the box office or some drama behind it. And I just want to be moving on. And Blue Beetle, honestly, it's Cholo Mariduenu. I can't pronounce his name ever, and I like him a lot. But Blue Beetle is not a character that I am super invested in. I want to see a good Superman movie, is what I want to see. So once again, James Gunn has not, like, he kept saying, he's like, I'm going to announce in January, and it's almost February, and it's like, what are you really going to announce? And it got to the point where I'm like waiting to do that big show or the big live stream where I talk about all the James Gunn announcements, but he hasn't said anything. And I think when he does, it's going to be something like just, oh, Superman release date. Oh yeah, I'm directing the movie, or the Batman release date. Something very simple, which at least will give us some progress, but nothing to give us really clarity. I think that we're going to be spending this next year in a limbo over DC, which is kind of killing the last bits of their fan base because no one cares anymore, because it's like everything is in a limbo, like the Black Adam movie referencing some things from the canon from DC and trying to build its own thing. It's all in a limbo, and I don't think that it's going to get better, which is part of the reason why I feel more and more disillusioned by superhero movies, because they all just keep there's just so they have no cohesion anymore. This is the same thing that's been happening with Marvel. We're not building to anything anymore. There's not really a character that I've connected with besides Batman that I feel like I want to follow this through to the end. And let me see. I refuse to pay to watch any movie with Ezra Miller and Amber Heard. I agree with that. I think I know why they're keeping Ezra, but I will keep it to myself. Okay. I hope the Flash bombs as well. Let DC burn to ashes so it can hopefully rise like a phoenix from the ashes. I honestly feel like they should have just cut their losses with the movies this year, because I'm going to see Shazam for sure because I liked the first movie. Probably not going to see The Flash unless I'm doing a video on it. We'll see. Aquaman, I really don't understand how that movie got $1 billion. It's really, really confusing to me. Because Aquaman, like, tell me what you think below, but I thought that Aquaman was just big dumb action movie, not well written. Amber Heard was terrible in that movie. She was terrible from the beginning. Jason Momoa is super, super likable. I've liked him in everything he's in. That's what it has going for it. None of these are like breadcrumbs. Like these are like leftovers that are coming out this year. And I think like maybe even as movies are overperforming at the box office, we'll even see Shazam fall flat on his face. It's not like there's any real hype around the new movie trailer or that people love Shazam. And that's why even with this live stream, like maybe not as many people are interested because it's like it's Shazam and the original Captain Marvel, and that was never a huge property, and DC wasn't able to make it a huge property. So I don't think that it's going to continue. Also, last thing, wouldn't it be funny if all these DC movies bombed next year? Like, I think that Aquaman has the chance not to bomb just because of how much the first movie made. But it would be interesting if, like, DC, like Shazam 2 bombed, and then The Flash bombed, and then Blue Beetle doesn't make much money, and the panic that would ensue at WB, who is desperate for money. Like, more and more changes might happen just based on how these movies are received. And that's what we're going to see. I think we just need to take a break from interconnected superhero universes. It's just so tired. Just give people a good self-contained movie. I agree with that. I think that the MCU doesn't get enough credit for the original Infinity Saga for how well it was in setting up the universe, because that is a rare thing. It's hard to set up a universe, and nothing else has really worked in making a shared universe. And so I would like it if the Batman can be separate and Superman can be separate, and we don't have to worry about crossovers and interconnectivity. David Zaslav is not really thinking like a fan, though. He's thinking like, what's going to make me the most money? He wants his cinematic universe. WB will never not want their cinematic universe like Marvel because of all the money it's made. You know, I'm kind of at a part when I'm burnt out and I just would like to watch a superhero movie on occasion. Like, they really have to do something to excite me to make me want to watch all these superhero movies again. I'm not burned out to the point where I won't see any of them. But like next year, I'm not planning on seeing the Marvels. I'm not planning on seeing Captain America 4. I have no interest in those movies. Somebody asked, can you do a future do a Dreamcast video for the DCU? I might. I could do a quick one right here. I would say that I don't have someone in mind. Like people said, Timothy Chalamet should play Robin. Timothy Chalamet won't do comic book movies apparently, but I want Robin to show up. I want either Anya Taylor-Joy or Mia Goth to play the new Harley, and Superman and Wonder Woman. I'd like to see some fresh faces. But basically, my dream for the DCU would just to be streamlined and to make some actual good movies and stop being an embarrassment. I do think they should focus on quality over quantity. So the last thing we need to talk about is the Joker 2 movie. I'm very invested in how that's going to turn out, which is why it's strange to me that we're all the way almost to February and we haven't gotten anything for it. Lady Gaga did a Instagram post confirming that she is filming it as of now. We got one picture of Arthur Fleck in December, but it was very, very generic and it didn't really cause a lot of hype. And we still don't really know what this movie is going to be yet. So it's strange that the first Joker movie was very successfully marketed on doing a screen test for Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. And we thought we would get one for Lady Gaga, but we haven't. And I wonder if maybe they're going to do like a Valentine's Day thing for it where they'll release a teaser then. And maybe it's because it's a bigger movie and they're not doing outside shooting as much and they're just waiting to be able to show us this. Or maybe that's going to be part of what James Gunn announces. Somebody says, I'm so disappointed that the Joker sequel is a musical. What? Well, here's the thing. It's going to be a musical because there's going to be dream sequences in Harley's head about her relationship with the Joker. It's going to be a dark musical like Sweeney Todd. Like I pointed this out to people. Joker and Harley have had a lot of musical sequences in their past, from Batman the Animated Series, from the animated version of The Killing Joke, which was terrible, from the Arkham games. They're very musical characters. So I wish it wasn't a musical, honestly, but I'm interested enough to get more of a traditional version of Harley that I'm willing to just see how it goes. And so that's why I'm really looking for, especially since this is a movie, at the very least, it's separate from all of this nonsense. It can be its own thing. It doesn't need to be an interconnected anything. So I can actually look forward to it. I'm wondering if that's going to be part of what James Gunn shows. Like maybe he will announce something from the Joker 2 movie. Like maybe it'll be a presentation so that he's like, this is when Superman is being released. This is when Batman's going to be released. Oh, and this is when Joker is going to be released. Here's a teaser for it. Maybe that'll be part of it. I hope I'm not disappointed by what he does. I'm still not happy that James Gunn is DC CEO, but what are you going to do about it at this point? Maybe he'll quit early. I don't know. But he really, like, is he going to announce it on midnight on Tuesday the 31st? Like, when is he going to announce all this stuff? Okay, I've gone not long, I've gone for 35 minutes. Thank you guys for watching. As always, before we sign off, I like to hear some questions from you. If anybody has a question you want me to answer or a thought you would like to give out, please write it now. I'm going to be busy. I just had a meeting yesterday doing new short film, The Purple Hand. I will have a teaser poster out for that as soon as possible. Hopefully, if everything works out, it's going to be shooting in February and everything will work out just fine. I can't wait to show you guys this new plot we have for this short film. Okay, first question. Why not follow the path, the original, and finish that story properly rather than drastically change the way in which the story is told? Are you talking about the Joker 2 movie? If that's what you're saying, then I guess they're trying to follow the Scorsese thing, because right after Taxi Driver, he did a movie called New York, New York, which was a musical. I think that's what they're doing. I would prefer a traditional story, a traditional movie on Harley's origin. That is a dream come true. I wish we could have gotten a movie just based on that could be comic accurate and wouldn't have to worry about all this clutter. Any non-DC or Marvel projects you are looking forward to? I'm looking forward to the Super Mario Brothers movie, and I'm looking forward to Mission Impossible, and I'm looking forward to Dune Part 2. Those are some movies that I'm looking forward to that are not Marvel adjacent right now. Not Marvel or DC. And I'm hoping that some interesting original movies crop up in the next year. Okay, last call for questions. Any questions or things that people want to discuss before we sign off? Let me just check one last time to make sure that James Gunn has not said anything. Let's see. Or maybe he'll say something at 5 o'clock right after I sign off, and I'll have to get right back on because we have finally some new news that is coming out. I've been waiting for a very long time for it. Nope, nothing. Nothing from old James Gunn. So let's go back to the stream. I agree. Why must we live in such injustice? Okay, we've got all this down. Thanks for doing the stream. It was fun. You did a good job, girly. Thank you so much. I'm glad that we got a decent amount of people coming in through the stream. It has been a little slow lately, but I hope that things pick up soon. Thank you guys all for watching this stream. And I will see you guys on the next stream, hopefully talking about new DC stuff. And otherwise, I'll have more movie reviews, discussion, and short films coming up soon. And I will